I'm a little curious that it would seem that not even the governors, so to speak, seem to understand the workings of FAC or even the CBN or NNPC, because in recent times we do know that there's been some delay in the distribution of money from FAC, and it has definitely, the governors have raised some concerns about that and asked, you know, what exactly is the NNPC doing? A host of them who are trying to be kind, so to speak, put it all at the table of the CBN, some, beg your pardon, the NNPC. And we're wondering, how come nobody understands, you know, the workings of the NNPC? If not that this concern was raised, we possibly would not understand, and this is definitely how it works.
Absolutely. I'm amazed, but having said so, as I said earlier, I mean, anything happens in Nigeria. We have a Minister for Finance, for example, who does not know how much subsidy is paid on kerosene, even though when this value exceeds maybe how much, 600 billion in 3 years or something like that. You have a monetary policy committee headed by the same Minister of Finance who wonders why interest rates are high and wonders, oh, I don't know why they should be so. We'll have to do something about it.
Tell us more. Sorry, Mr. Boyo. Tell us more on this interest rate, because we're trying to look at this alleged missing funds or unremitted funds. It all depends on what name you've chosen to call it. Right. And now we also talk about how it has affected business here in the country. And once we saw the president in China, and there was also this talk about CBN also trying to get investors to come. We want to marry that with side by side with the interest on loans given to businesses or business people, investors in Nigeria, compared to what we had happening in China.
Well, the reality is that on closer scrutiny of what is happening, particularly with regards to these letter, there's an element of mischief, you know, trying to distract attention. You know, if somebody is doing you harm and doesn't want you to notice, you know, it shows you a lot of, how do I say it, apparently horrendous events which would take your attention and draw your attention from away from, you know, the CBN's role in an economy is pivotal. It is pivotal. They will say, yeah, but NEPA, this and that. Yeah, of course, these things are all critical. But the monetary policy operation and framework in any country is pivotal to success. And that is why the CBN Act demands ab initio, first line, that critical mandate of the Apex Bank should be price stability. Price stability means not just stability of prices the way they are, but ensuring that prices, including cost of funds and things, are stable at rates that will drive the economy, not just stability at, you know, atrocious, destructive, or poisonous rates, you know. But you have a situation where the agency that's supposed to drive our economic growth is fumbling. Is fumbling. You see, you have a situation where we are asking for 49-point-something billion, which I have told you is meaningless, really, because you can't expect, you know, your dividends to be equal to sales revenue, okay? But you have a situation where the CBN itself is sitting on $40 billion, $40 billion, which it titles to be its own. In other words, it is not subject to appropriation. And you wonder where this same bank is getting the huge billions of dollars that it donates here, there, left, right, and center. If it wants to do corporate social responsibility, how much is your provision for such in your distance? I remember when in those days when Nigeria was in support of the anti-apartheid movement, the corporate social responsibility, if I can use that phrase, that Nigerians did was that Nigerians were taxed to pay from their pocket. It was not like somebody just carried money. That is what you call the sacrifice. But here we have what appears to be an inexhaustible pot of $40 billion sitting down there, idle in most cases. And that comes to your point. Because of this idle money sitting there, we had the very paradoxical situation where the CBN governor and Mr. President went to China. And the president was looking for loans 1.5 billion, I think they got to something at maybe X percent of 7% or thereabouts or whatever. At the same time, simultaneously, the same CBN was looking for where to invest their money for returns which would not exceed 2 or 3%, because at international rates, Nigeria is supposed to be the cash cow. You know, you get rates of 14-15% for government borrowings, for borrowings that are not used for anything.
Couldn't the
In most
CBN
cases,
have loaned the government this money?
thank you. This is the point I'm making, that these are the issues. You have a central bank governor or a central bank as an agency that comes to the people and confidently tells the people that, look, we have discovered that we've been giving the banks a free ride. We have been unknowingly leaving our money in their hands and then going back and borrow it back. So we are not going to do that anymore. No, we are not going to do that anymore. We are going to only do it 50%. So we are saying that deposits of government funds in the banks, only 50% could be part of their cash ratio. Whereas, in spite of the fact that the balance 50% still instigates excess liquidity because they're still mopping up, meaning that in spite of the 50% that has gone, there is still the necessity for government to borrow back its own money at 10, 11, 12%.
Mr. Boyo, the picture here
is horrendous.
The picture here, permit me to borrow your words, horrendous. We talk about an improving economy. We talk about the lives of the ordinary Nigerians not being affected positively. And then we keep hearing these amounts of money, 40 billion here, 4 trillion, 5 trillion. I mean, as of last year, we had a budget of about 4 trillion plus.
Almost
and then
trillion.
the FIRS comes in to say they made about 5 trillion. So
how did you get a deficit?
Why do we go borrowing? And
God
now the
bless
CBN has 40 billion
sitting down, and we are going to borrow from outside at 7%.
The question then is, what is the role of the National Assembly in the appropriation of all these funds? If they are supposed to be handling the issues of appropriation and ensuring that no monies are spent in the government that are not appropriate for.
They can only do that properly if they understand. If they don't understand, they won't know what to look for or what to control.
Well, we'll leave it here, but I really would want to hear from the CBN, let them respond to all of this, because these are actually grave allegations. Because first, we're looking at the letter on NNPC, and we just also realized that the whistleblower also has an issue.
Should be scrutinized.
Should also be scrutinized. And the way the law is, well, we've not been able to look in that direction. Well, Mr. Boyo, we'd like to thank you so very much for sharing your time with us on this particular matter. And if need be, we'll have to have you come back again. That is when we have a response from the CBN and the NNPC to look at this in a more robust manner.
Don't hold your breath on that.
All right.